In this video, I'm going to be walking through random sampling. So there are three types of random sampling: simple random sampling, systematic sampling, and stratified sampling. We're going to walk through simple random sampling first, and a simple random sample is one where every sample of size n has an equal chance of being selected. So there is usually a sampling frame, and in this case, we'll just consider these three shapes. And each thing is allocated a unique number. We'll just give them 1, 2, 3 here. And a selection of these numbers are chosen at random. So how they are chosen at random is you can either generate random numbers on your calculator or your computer, or you can use something called lottery sampling, which is where you write the numbers down and you can pick them out randomly. So an advantage of simple random sampling is that they are free of bias, and this is because every sample of size n has an equal chance of being selected. And also, it is equal. However, a disadvantage of simple random sampling is that it can't be used for a large population size, because if your sample is of size 1,000, then it would be hard to label every single one and generate this all manually. So you can't do for large population. Okay, and another one is that a sampling frame is required, and this could be quite difficult to obtain. So next, systematic sampling. Systematic sampling occurs when the required element is chosen at regular intervals from an ordered list. For example, every 5th person or every 10th person. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person, but this is just an example. An advantage of systematic sampling is that it is quick to use and you can use it for large samples. So it's quick and easy to use, and you can use it for large populations. However, a disadvantage of systematic sampling is that a sampling frame is required. And it can introduce bias if the sampling frame isn't random. Okay, so next, stratified sampling. This is where the population is divided into mutually exclusive strata and a random sample is taken from each. So this is where you can either split it into different types, like boys and girls, and a random sample is then taken from each. So how to find the random sampled in a stratum is the number in the stratum over the number in the population multiplied by the overall sampling size gives you the number that you need to sample in each stratum. Okay, so an advantage of this is that this accurately reflects population, and there is a proportional representation. And a disadvantage is that the population must be clearly distinguishable. So as my example earlier, boys and girls, that's quite clearly distinguishable. However, there may be something that's not so clearly distinguishable. And so population must be clearly distinguishable. This could be like chocolate bars if they're out of their wrappers. That's not necessarily clearly distinguishable. And of course, once you've split it into mutually exclusive strata, a random sample is taken from each. So all the disadvantages that is used from simple random sampling can be applied here as well. And so these are, just to recap, these are cannot use a large population size. You cannot use it for a large population size, and a sampling frame is required.